Okay, so this is a 2002 GMC Sierra pickup. Same thing as a Chevy pickup basically. And if you're watching this video, you're probably trying to figure out how to fix this Crossmember here. So I'm gonna kind of show you guys how I did it. I'm gonna show you drop the tank. We've actually taken off the bed, make it a little bit easier. You can kind of see the issues that are going on here. And our plan is we're going to cut out a piece here, we're going to cut out a piece over here, and then we're going to splice in, we're going to butt weld in a new piece. I've already taken the fuel lines and I've actually kind of put them over here underneath some wet t-shirts and stuff, so that just in case any sparks fly, that they'll be quenched. They're cotton t-shirts, and so that way, you know, just a little bit of welding safety. And I'm not an expert welder. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out, and I'll keep you guys up to date on how it goes. Okay, so I just took the Sawzall, chopped out that piece down there, and notice the metal on this side. I mean, looks really good. It looks nice and thick. On this side, however, not so much. I'm thinking the walls, the top and one side's still okay, but the walls and the bottom are pretty thin, so I'm thinking we're probably going to end up cutting it back a bit further. I think the next logical step is to probably cut it back to here and then just use a straight piece all the way across. You know what, this truck has a 2-inch lift. It's a very small lift, but you no longer really need that hump. I mean, you're not going to need it for clearance for the drive shaft. We don't need it for clearance for wires or anything like that. So I think we can just take that hump out at this point. We're going to have to rehang this bracket here, but I've got an idea on how to do that fairly easily. So, and I'll show that to you guys. So that's the update for now. Okay, so here is the piece that we spliced in there. We have not welded it yet. We actually got a really nice tight fit. It might have been like a 64th or maybe a 32nd of an inch too long. So what we did was we actually had this jack, and we spread it just a smidgen, I mean just a little itty bitty piece, so that we could slip it in there. It'll be a nice tight weld. Some people may be asking, why didn't you just, you know, grind out or cut it out here? There are solutions out there where you actually kind of cut it flush with the frame, and then you end up busting out the pipe. And the reason we decided not to do that is, like, these welds are actually really good. You look at the quality of them, and it would be really difficult to mimic what they've done. These welds here, you know, like I said, I'm not an expert welder, but I'm going to do the best job I can. But at least this way it's out in the open and easier to you know, correct. If I don't like it, I can cut it out and start it over. That's about it. I will show you what happens next. All right, so we are done with the first phase of welding, and we ran the beads around either end. We ran it around this end, ran it around that end. I'm not going to zoom in on the beads because they are, well, they're kind of ugly, but you put enough metal on there, it'll be strong enough. And we had good penetration. We actually blew through and had to fill in a couple places. This pipe, actually, what we did was we got a 3-inch exhaust pipe, but it was really thick walled. Actually, it was probably even thicker than the tube itself, the original tube. So I'm very confident that will be strong enough. And we just got to go back and touch up the welds a little bit. This piece right back here, we're actually going to, that front cross member, I'm going to try to actually get a replacement for that. Just grind off the rivets and just take it out and bolt in a new one. So that's the plan for that. But that's all for this next phase. All right, so we're testing the welds. Oh, drop the fire extinguisher. All right. Well, that's not, like, you know, the best way to test, but it's adequate. All right, so here's a photo. It rained, so it got some surface rust there, but we cut out the other gas tank bracket and we just welded it on. And so you'll kind of see what we did. We just kind of cut out the piece right from the pipe and stitched it across the top on both sides, and that's it. And that's a new a new Crossmember, front Crossmember that we're about to bolt in. Once we took out the rivets, 7/16" grade 8 bolts, we'll replace the rivets, crank them down real tight, put lock nuts on them so that thing will never come out. And that's the status for now. All right, so here we have, we went ahead and we replaced the front tank support Crossmember. This came from a donor vehicle, and you'll see we've got, like I said in the last one, grade 8 7/16" bolts. Once you grind off, it did take a little bit to be able to grind off the rivets out of the back underneath and then pop them off, but then we just put a coating of frame paint on, and now we're getting ready to hang the gas tank. And there's the final product. I'll sort of give a little walk around. It really doesn't mount, just because of the way the gas tank's designed. It really doesn't mount any lower. So that's the new front gas tank bracket. Our repaired bracket there in the rear. I think we welded it up good enough to withstand some pretty good shock. That's it. Now let's see if it starts.